He swept the same lobby every night, quiet, unnoticed, invisible. But one morning, the CEO found a note slipped under her office door, written by that same janitor. 5 sentences. No name. Just a warning that if she didn't read the attached document, everything, her company, her billion-dollar deal, and even her legacy, would collapse. She laughed at first, until she read the second page. And then, she froze. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, share with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe our channel Kindness Talks for more real-life inspired emotional stories. No one noticed the janitor. Not the board members who walked through the gleaming lobby every morning in polished shoes. Not the marketing team that left their half-eaten takeout containers on desks each night. Not even the security guard who nodded more out of habit than recognition. But he noticed everything. Caleb Wright, 42 years old, was a single dad. He wore a faded navy blue janitor uniform with his name stitched over the chest, though most employees never cared to read it. For 5 years, he worked the night shift at Darwin Tech Corp, one of the fastest-growing AI startups in the world, about to close a $200 million merger with a tech giant in the morning. Each evening, Caleb quietly picked up after everyone else's dreams, going from cubicle to corner office, emptying trash, wiping screens, restocking bathroom stalls. And then at 3 a.m., he'd go home, cook breakfast, wake up his 9-year-old daughter Ellie, and walk her to school with a smile only she ever really saw. But what no one knew about Caleb, what no one even asked, was that 20 years ago, he was one of the top data engineers in Silicon Valley. He walked away from everything after his wife died in childbirth, choosing diapers and bedtime stories over deadlines and billion-dollar IPOs. He never told anyone. He didn't need to. He just worked and loved his daughter. Until one night, he saw something. Caleb was cleaning the executive meeting room on the 23rd floor when he noticed an open laptop. Normally, he'd never even look. But the screen was glowing with a spreadsheet, names, data trails, transaction routes. And one tab labeled Obsidian Protocol, Merge Clearance, caught his eye. He leaned in closer, eyes narrowing. Something about those numbers didn't make sense. The merger report showed compliance across all regions. But Caleb noticed a small code discrepancy, a duplicate chain of identifiers that was clearly being masked. It was subtle. Too subtle for someone unfamiliar with deep system auditing. But for someone like Caleb, who once built the very software these companies used, it was glaring. This wasn't just a small oversight. It was fraud. Or worse, a deliberate data misdirection. If the merger went through, the buying company would eventually find out. And they'd sue Darwin Tech for breach of trust and misrepresentation. Caleb's heart raced. He printed the spreadsheet, added notes, and tucked it in his coat pocket. He didn't know what to do. He was a janitor. No one would believe him. But he couldn't stay silent either. That night, as dawn crept over the city, he wrote a 5-sentence note on a torn envelope and slipped it under the CEO's door. Evelyn Carter, the 38-year-old CEO of Darwin Tech, was known for her brilliance and ruthlessness in equal measure. She built the company from her garage, poured her life into it, and now stood on the edge of a legacy-defining $200 million merger. One more signature, and her company would skyrocket into the global stratosphere. She arrived early that morning, coffee in hand, rehearsing her speech for the shareholders. But when she opened her office door, she saw the envelope. She frowned. No name. No logo. Just messy, slanted handwriting. If you sign the merger papers without reading what's attached, this company will collapse within a year. I don't want credit. I just couldn't stay silent. She almost threw it away. But something, maybe intuition, maybe exhaustion, made her sit down and read. And by page 2, her hands were shaking. The annotations. The reference points. The code breakdown. Whoever wrote this wasn't just guessing. They understood the architecture better than even her CTO. Evelyn immediately canceled the morning meeting and called her legal counsel. "What is this?" she asked. By noon, an emergency internal audit confirmed everything. The fraud trail was traced back to one of the company's senior VPs, someone who stood to gain millions in bonuses once the deal closed. If Caleb hadn't spoken up, Darwin Tech would have faced lawsuits, bankruptcy, and public ruin within months. Evelyn was stunned. But then came the second shock. "Who wrote this?" she demanded. Her team scrambled. Eventually, someone from security said they saw a janitor dropping something near her door. A janitor? What janitor? They pulled employee records. Only one janitor was on the night shift, Caleb Wright. Evelyn had never heard his name before. She invited him to her office. Caleb arrived quietly, his expression calm, unsure of what would follow. He didn't expect thanks. He didn't expect anything, really. Just wanted to do the right thing and go home to Ellie. But Evelyn looked at him with awe. "Who are you?" she asked. He shrugged. "Just a janitor. And a father." She smiled, moved more than she could admit. She offered him a position on her data integrity team that day, full benefits, and a salary that meant Ellie would never have to worry again. Caleb hesitated. "I haven't done this in years," he said. "But you never stopped seeing what mattered," she replied. And he took the offer. Months later, Evelyn publicly acknowledged the anonymous hero who saved her company. And when the new merger finally went through, with a better partner, no fraud, and full transparency, she made sure one name was engraved on the new building wing. The Caleb Wright Data Integrity Center. Sometimes the people we overlook are the ones holding everything together. Caleb didn't save Darwin Tech because he had a title. He saved it because he had integrity. And in a world full of noise, his quiet honesty changed everything.